I heard this news this morning, or I caught sight of it actually. Val did, because somebody had emailed her, somebody she works with that works out and follows bodybuilding and is a bodybuilder, and said that Rich Piana had passed away. So quickly we looked around for some kind of confirmation, because all kind of rumors get out there, and they have ever since he's had this incident where he's been hospitalized. And we saw where Sarah herself had come out and expressed her just disbelief, that it was just incredulous that he could be gone like that, and how sad she was about it. So I take it from that it's probably confirmed. And I saw where Sean Ray said that it had been confirmed. So there you have it. It looks like Rich Piana has actually passed away this morning sometime. When everybody was making all the videos about his misfortune and that he'd been hospitalized, and all the little busters came out there to speak poorly of him, I didn't make any videos on it or anything, because it's not really my thing. I had different opinions than the guy, but look, I watched his videos. I'll miss his videos. I'll miss him not being out there, and he was quite a caricature, and he was extremely entertaining and charismatic. And the proof is in, how many people were drawn to the guy and loved and supported him and admired him. And I met him and got to talk to him in an unguarded moment of conversation one morning at a hotel we were both staying at during the Arnold Expo. And in that conversation, it impressed me that, to me, he didn't seem like a guy that was particularly happy or satisfied. It seemed like he was maybe, I'm pretty perceptive when it comes to talking with other guys and feeling things out, picking things up, and he just seemed like a guy that was maybe beat himself up a lot, really, which is unfortunate, of course. But one thing, he became very animated and lit up like a candle, bright, in a dark room. When I asked him, I expressed to him how draining that the expo was already to me, that I don't know how you guys do it like this, because this being my first one, it's really draining. It's run me down. And I work hard for a living every day, And I said to him, does it ever get to you, man? Going to all these expos, is it ever tedious to you? He said, what I hate about it is the flying. And we talked about that. And then I said, what about the standing all day, man, and all the lines and stuff that you get? And this wasn't something, this was just a casual private conversation briefly. It wasn't something that I was going to come back here and make a video about clearly or anything like that. So he was honest, and he looked at me and he lit up for the first time in the conversation. And he smiled ear to ear, just beaming. And it was so genuine. That was genuine. You could feel it. And he said to me, oh, I love that. He said, that's the part that I love. He said, I love meeting with the people and shaking hands and getting to talk with everybody. He said, I love that. He said, that's what keeps me going. That's what he told me. That's what he said. And I believed that 100%. So as much as he was loved, and all of his many supporters and fans out there, he loved all of you guys genuinely, every bit as much or more. That really, if nothing else, that I walked away from that little conversation knowing clearly it was that, understanding that this was a guy that he loved that part of it, and he was very appreciative of that part of it. He actually loved meeting with everybody and standing there all day and taking the time to talk to everybody and shake hands. He absolutely loved that. And I admired that in him. That's respectable. That's That's respectable. You know, of course, we could have had differences of opinion on a lot of other matters, but at the crux of it, inside that guy, I, ever since then, if you notice too, I haven't been, critical of him, because I think he was a guy that was just feeling his way out, and his fame came on rather quickly, really, once the machine started to roll. I think he had a lot of room to grow yet, and who knows where he'd ended up. But I think he was a good person, and I think that he was definitely appreciative. Definitely appreciative. I think that he was a really good guy in those regards. And he'll be sorely missed, because nobody's ever going to replace the guy. What he brought that entertained people, entertained me, was clearly individual, and he owned it. It was him. It was his baby. He was the engine that pulled the train. He was the locomotive. And I really thought, and I heard some very sad things while he was in the hospital. Not from the internet, not from all the busters. And of course, I'm not going to come out there and say anything, right? Because a lot of people trust me with stuff that I'm not going to say anything about, because, well, that's why they trust me with stuff, because, but I still believed that he was going to rebound. I still believed, because he just seemed like an unstoppable cannonball, just, launched from this cannon, and there was this meteoric rise, and there was nothing that was going to stop this guy. He was so determined and had so much drive that nothing was going to stop him, Anyway, I think it's a huge loss, and there are people come out and say they don't feel sorry for the guy, they don't have any sympathy for the guy. People pass away every day that you should be more sympathetic toward and deserve it more and all this. That's subjective. Yeah, people pass away all the time. I know more than most people know in the day-to-day life, day-to-day struggle. I know of other people suffering. I'm very well aware of that. I literally get thousands of emails from people that are going through horrible, horrible things, because that's the kind of audience we try to connect with. We try to connect with. And I think that any kind of thing like this is sad. Judge not, lest ye be judged, right? And I think that, that it's a bad thing. It's terrible. I think it's a terrible thing, and nothing's going to replace this guy. I'm going to miss just his videos. I'm going to miss his videos. And something else? I wish I could have actually had a little bit more interaction with him on a personal level, not on YouTube, not videos, not any of that kind of agenda, but just to actually talk with him one-to-one. Just, like that one short time that we did. And there are people everywhere that you're going to always find detractors. You're going to always find people that feel that they had a negative experience with you. Hell, there are people out there that definitely, absolutely would say today that, that I did them wrong, and that they had a negative experience or relationship with me. It's a lifetime that you're living. Things happen, and not everything works out, so that every side is amicably pleased. But I still think that the guy had a lot of potential inside, and that he was a good human being at his core. And I'm going to miss him. I watched his videos. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I didn't. And I was very much entertained by him.